How to get the cheapest car insurance quote possible. Car insurance doesn't have to be expensive if you do certain things right. To find the best policy and cheapest auto insurance for you, implement our tips and keep your premium down for a long time. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. I hope you are doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous. If you are doing as marvelous as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or a hot cup and let's roll. Today we want to break down the cheapest way to get car insurance. All right, the cheapest car insurance possible. Now, number one, work on your credit. This is very important. You gotta pay your bills on time. Now, you might think that car insurance has nothing to do with the credit score, but you are wrong, because an insurance company is also in the financial services, and anything that touches your finances and touches the financial industry has to do with the credit score. In other words, there is some linkage here. So it's very important to take care of your bills on time, and because the Federal Trade Commission has conducted a survey several years ago that showed that drivers with poor credit and a good credit and a good driving record pay almost as much for car insurance as a driver with a DUI. Let me repeat that. The FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, found that drivers with poor credit and a good driving record pay almost as much for car insurance as a driver with a DUI. That just tells you how important it is. So I'm going to take some time here to talk to you about how to take care of your credit score. Right? Pay your bills on time. You know, when a potential insurer reviews your credit report and requests a credit score for you, he or she is very interested in how reliably you pay your bills. Remember that premiums are also bills, so the insurance company wants to make sure that you are going to pay your bills, right? You got to get credit. Make sure that you make utility and cell phone payments on time. Those are very important. Again, those are little things of every day, and people tend to underestimate or ignore them, but they can carry you all the way to the top if you pay them on time, or all the way to the bottom if you ignore them. And this carries other consequences in other aspects of your life, especially when you have to get, something as big as a mortgage. That's when you realize that not taking care of the small things can actually endanger your financial life. Another way to work on your credit is to pay off debts and keep balances low on credit cards and other revolving credit, right? So here you want to pay attention to the credit utilization ratio, right? This is very important when it comes to credit score calculation. So the credit utilization ratio, the CUR, is to get that, you just gotta add all your credit balances or your credit card balances at any given time and divide that amount by your total credit limit. So for instance, let's say you have about $10,000 worth of credit available to you, and you have, as of today, you have $7,000 on all those cards. That's a 70% credit utilization ratio. That's kind of high. Experts recommend that people keep a CUR under 33%. So 1/3 of you can use up to 1/3 of your available credit. Another way to improve your credit score is to apply for and open new credit account only as needed. Right? Don't quote unquote abuse the system. Right? Don't try to open an account just to have a better credit mix. That will work against you. And also, don't close unused credit cards. Right? Keep unused credit card open as long as they're not costing you money in annual fees, right? This is a great strategy, because if you close any account, this will increase your credit utilization ratio, right? Let's say you have a card that has a 10,000 credit limits, but you're not touching it. But that 10,000 is going to the denominator of the equation, right? The bottom part of the equation. So that means it's lowering your overall credit utilization ratio. But as soon as you close that credit card, your CUR will go up. And one thing you also have to pay attention to is not applying for too much new credit, because those result in multiple inquiries into your credit profile, and you don't want that. All right. And you also want to think about, disputing any inaccuracies on your credit report, right? You want to check all your credit report from, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, making sure there is no inaccuracy, because incorrect information on your credit report could drag down your scores. All right. You also want to verify that the account listed on your reports are correct. If you see mistakes, you can dispute the info and get it corrected right away. So this is the first thing you need to do to get the cheapest car insurance quote possible. Work on your credit. Number 2, move to a low crime zip code. You want to be in a safer area, right? So, where you live, location affects your car insurance, because it has to do with risk, right? The insurance company is in the business of managing risks. So they can identify if you are in a high crime area. They might think, there is a high chance of theft or fraud in those areas. And I don't want that, right? As a matter of fact, rural areas can pay more because of the high deer accident volume. So the thing here is that insurance companies generally have their own systems for determining rates. So just be aware that moving could change your car insurance rate. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. I hope that you're having a good time so far. I'm having a wonderful time. And if you love the content of the show so far, please consider subscribing to our channel and turn on the notification bell. And also want you to smash the like button and also the share button. Many people need to know about this info. It's very important. And most importantly, please comment below. Number 3, shop for insurance before purchasing a vehicle. Now, I know this might sound counterintuitive, but it's better to start shopping before you buy the vehicle. That way, you're able to see exactly whether you can afford the insurance on the new car or the car you are about to buy, right? Because regularly shopping around for car insurance quotes is the only way, right? Because even if you have a clean record, you're happy with your insurance company, you might find a better deal elsewhere. It's always important to always keep looking. All right. So an insurer will charge you more or less depending upon the type of car you drive. Okay. So I'm going to give you here a few cars that, the least expensive cars to insure, according to personal finance website NERDWALLET. So you have a Subaru Outback, the Jeep Wrangler, Honda CR-V, Jeep Compass, Ford Escape, Subaru Forester, Chevrolet Equinox, GMC Sierra, Toyota Tacoma, and Jeep Cherokee. So basically, those are some of the cars that are very, very cheap to afford. Maybe you might like one of those, so get them. You have to understand also that car models affect insurance rates down to the trim. This is very important. An insurer will set pricing based on the risk he or she has determined you or your vehicle present. Right, so to determine a vehicle's risk, insurers consider claim histories, including accidents, repair costs, and rate of car theft. So that's very important. Now, if you some model may yield higher car maintenance insurance rates. All right. So we also want to talk about how to make sure that you get the car you want when it comes to trim level. So trim level is linked to car insurance rate. So if you add features to your new car, this may raise your insurance rate, right? So cars with high-tech safety equipment cost more to repair. And if you opt for a more powerful engine, insurers think you are at greater risk for speeding and getting in an accident. So just kind of think about that as you move along and trying to get your new car insurance. All right, I'll be speaking to you right after this. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. We're still having here a conversation around how to get the cheapest car insurance quote possible. And number 4, the fourth tip is to drive cautiously. Okay, because car insurance, if you think about it, is generally expensive for drivers with a history of car accidents, speeding tickets, DUIs, or other violations in the past 3 to 5 years. That's the kind of horizon the IRS looks at, 3 to 5 years. So here are some tips when it comes to safe driving. Number one, focus on driving, right? You want to keep 100% of your attention on driving at all times, right? Don't try to multitask while you're on the wheel. No, don't use your phone or any other electronic device while driving. I mean, this is just a self-explanatory. The government has done a lot of awareness campaigns around that. You want to slow down, right? Because speeding gives you less time to react and increases the severity of an accident. The second tip you might want to try here is to drive defensively. Defense is always good, right? So the way you drive defensively is to always expect the unexpected, right? So you are aware of what other drivers do around you. You assume that someone will do something crazy, and you are always prepared for it, right? So you always want to keep a 2-second cushion between you and the car in front of you, and you want to make it 4 seconds if the weather is really bad. The third tip is to make a safe driving plan, right? So you want to build time into your trip schedule to stop for food, rest breaks, phone calls, or other business, right? So if you have, for instance, you have to be at the airport at 12, you might want to show up at 10 or 9 for that matter. So you want to adjust your seat mirrors and the climate control before putting the car in gear, and pull over to eat or drink, right? This is very important. And you want to practice safety, right? So basically, a good way to drive cautiously is to not attempt to retrieve items that fall to the floor. No, you always want to wear your seatbelt and drive sober and drug free. Don't let yourself be controlled by external substances. No. All right. So the thing here is that when it comes to safety, it's first and foremost a personal decision. Now, your decision will affect other people, so you want to be aware of that. Now, don't allow children to fight or climb around in your car, because they should be buckled in the seats at all times, right? So too much noise can easily distract you from focusing on the road. Avoid driving while you're tired. I think this is self-explanatory. If you're tired, you stay home, you sleep. All right, so this is very important. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Q, where we are continuing our conversation around the opportunities and the option available if you want to get the cheapest car insurance. Now, another important tip here is to seek discounts, right? So if you are able to seek discounts while shopping for a car insurance policy, then you are really saving a lot of money. Now, when it comes to discounts, there are many options here. Let's say you have an airbag, for instance. If you have an airbag on the driver's side or the full front seat, you can get a discount. Anti-lock brakes, anti-theft system, daytime running lights, new vehicle discounts, good driver, seatbelt use, defensive driving, driver's educational course, good student, emergency deployment, federal employee, membership and employee, military, multi-vehicle, multi-policies. So what I'm trying to say, I've just given you a list of some of the most popular discounts, some of the most popular, equipment items that can give you a discount, and the discount can go all the way to 25% or 30%. So you want to really think about that, right? Some of those discounts depend on the vehicle, some depends on the driver's education, and some depends on the driver's affiliation, right? Or even the client's loyalty. So it's very important, all right? Now, number 6, to get the cheapest insurance quote possible, raise your deductibles, right? So you can choose to pay more out of pocket if you file a collision or comprehensive claim and that will reduce your monthly premium. But it's very important to understand that if something were to happen to you, you're gonna have to spend a lot of money, right? So remember that the goal of insurance is to ensure that you will survive financially due to an unforeseen event. Okay, so if you have, let's say, if you have a lot of cash and you're comfortable financially, for instance, insurance on smaller things is a lot less important, right? So if you have a huge bankrolls, you don't need to carry full insurance on your car, for instance. Okay, you can just cover the parts that might worry you if you or you are just legally required to cover it. So now, saving money, and this is very important, saving money by raising a deductible assumes that you have the cash on hand to cover the deductible in such a situation, right? So let's say, for instance, you are raise your auto deductible from, I would say, to 200 to 2,000, for instance. You'll see a big drop in your bill. But if something goes wrong with your car, you're going to need that 1,000. If you don't have the 1,000 or 2,000 in an easy to access place, then you are in real trouble, right? So this is just more part of a good financial plan, right? So you're trying to really save. So if you have a well-funded emergency fund in a savings account or somewhere, you can raise your deductibles some without worry. Right now, you need a well-funded emergency fund or an emergency account anyway, whether it is for to lower your deductibles, to lower your premiums, or for something else. You need to have this, but this is for another topic. We have talked about it. We've talked about this before. If you look into our video catalog, you would see that we have a lot of videos around the topics of rainy day funds, emergency funds, and all of that stuff. So you got to think about that, right? So this is basically the things you can do. The next two things you can do. So you can seek discounts, or you can raise your deductibles. All right, I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. We're still here having a conversation around auto insurance and how to get the cheapest quote possible. If you like the content clarity and quality so far, please consider subscribing to our channel and turn on the notification button. Really appreciate that. Comment, share, like, you know the deal. Really appreciate it. Now, number 7, avoid certain types of vehicles. Very important. So if you wanted to reduce your car insurance quotes, you want to get away from sports cars, high-end luxury cars, electric vehicles, cars most targeted by thieves, right? So if you have this one of those cars, you want to make sure that you change it, because otherwise you cannot reduce. You're not going to be able to reduce your car insurance. So high-end cars, higher premiums, that's for sure. Big motors, bigger rates, right? So horsepower can directly impact the cost of your insurance. The more horsepower your vehicle has, the likelier you are to drive at faster speeds, and as such, the higher the risk of an accident, right? Theft increases cost. If you, again, like I said, if your car is among a common targets or is a favorite of car thieves, you're going to have to pay more. This will carry higher insurance premiums than cars that aren't. All right. So now you want to think about that. Thieves target certain cars over others for a variety of reasons, including the vehicle's overall desirability and the demands for its parts. Now, as I said earlier, sports cars are just they're just expensive, not only to buy but also to cover, right? So just be prepared if you're if you're driving one of those vehicles that, insurance companies know that owners of sports cars go faster, right, than the general driving population, and as such they're at risk of having accidents more frequently and more seriously than drivers of minivans, for example, or SUVs, for example, right? This might be a little bit of discrimination, but reality has proven that this is actually true. All right, now the number 8, the next strategy you want to use is to bundle your coverages. Now, bundling saves money. Bundling means that you are actually associating several insurance policies, but from the same insurer. For instance, you want to have a car insurance or your home insurance with the same insurer, or health insurance and car insurance and home insurance all from the same insurer, right? So this kind of helps you to save money, because the insurer knows that they're making money anyway off of you, that you're a loyal customer, right? And bundling is also convenient, right? It makes you manage your policies easier. It cuts down on paperwork. It saves you time. If you have to try and remember, if you're trying to remember login information and passwords, it's really convenient if you have to only log into one. It also reduces the inconvenience of having to communicate with multiple insurance companies about multiple policies. So this is very important. You can access, especially if the insurance companies is a national one, if they are in many places, you're able to benefit from coverage even when you travel, because some insurance companies want to limit coverage within a state. But if you have a national insurance company that is okay with providing coverage that is available to you in all 50 states, that's even better. All right, now you have to understand that insurers also offer unique product tiers or more complex bundles if you decide to combine all of your policies, right? So this is what I was saying before. Let's say you have a car, home, rental property, boat, RV. They can offer you, you can find an insurer to offer one policy package. Now if they don't have that, tell them. You can go to your existing insurer and say, listen, I'm in the market for a car insurance, and I want a quote from you. I want an affordable quote from you. So, and they'll give you a good quote, as long as you have a good driving history and a good credit report. So this is really about it, folks, and I really appreciate you listening to us. And I want to recap today's show. So, how to get the cheapest car insurance quote possible. You can do 8 things to achieve that. You can work on your credit. You can move to a low crime zip code. You can shop for insurance before purchasing a vehicle. You can drive cautiously, seek discounts, raise your deductibles, avoid certain types of vehicles, bundle your coverages. All right. Thank you so much for listening to me. I really appreciate it. I'll see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.